Hey, welcome back to the Team Draft Super League. I'm Reed Duke, joined this time by Matt Severa. How's it going, Matt?
Hey, all right. How are you?
Doing well. We've got a heated battle on our hands here. Your team's currently up 4-3 with possibly two matches to go. This time we're going to watch William Jensen, Huey versus Sam Black.
Yep.
So far, have you played two matches yourself, or only one?
I played two. I played against Huey and then Owen.
And you beat them both, right?
I did. Yep.
Okay, so you're 2-0. Justin's deck seems real strong as well.
Yeah, his deck's great.
Oh, I misspoke. Actually, you guys are up 4-2, right?
You beat Sam in round one, right? And then Owen beat Sam.
Yeah, I think you and Justin are 2-0, and Sam is 0-2 right now.
Yep.
But he'll be trying to win the match for your team by beating Huey this round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see. Sam wasn't too happy about his deck. But yeah, you never know. So
Sam's deck turned out white-black, a little bit on the creature light side, but what he does have going for him is a lot of removal spells in 3 Splendid Agonies and Never Return, and a couple Wander and Deaths to win a long game. Winning a long game might prove useful in this match as Huey's got a Grixis control deck.
right.
So it will be cool to see how these two match up, since the rest of us are mostly beating down, but these two guys want to play longer games.
Yeah. Huey's got the 5/3. What's that card called?
Glyph Keeper, the Sphinx.
Yeah, Glyph Keeper, which I think is going to be kind of a big deal, obviously. But yeah, I think that's really the big thing. Huey has some bigger spells, but Sam definitely has like a lot of removal, a lot of ways to grind. So there's that.
Mm-hmm. I know Huey was also not too happy with his deck. We saw him play Justin to a good match. He won one game on the back of Kefnet the Mindful, which that card can be really, really good if under the right circumstances, if you actually can get the 7 cards in your hand to have it defend you. But other than that, 3 colors of mana and can come out of the gates a little bit slow.
Right.
So he's not thrilled, but
yeah,
I think. Go ahead.
I said I was just able to get under him when we played.
Oh, yeah.
Came fast, and so.
Yeah. Huey and Sam can both, put together some good stuff, and we've seen them win games already. So it'll be cool to see these two decks face off. How did the draft go for you, Matt?
I think it went really well. I mean, I first picked a white card and second picked a blue card, and then I third picked the that rare Vizier, which I think you have a copy of that too. I
do. Yeah, it's funny that our decks have a lot of similarities.
Right. You were on the opposite side of the table from me.
Right.
So, yeah. I was just able to draft like an aggressive white-blue deck between essentially just 2 red control drafters. Owen is red-blue on my left, and he was like Grixis control on my right. Mostly red-black, I think. So,
you were able to assemble the dream combination of white monument plus white trial. If you ever draw those two in the same game, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
The players are ready, so let's go down and see Sam Black versus William Jensen.
Okay, what do we have here? Looks
both
like
players
Sam,
with strong hands.
Yeah, Sam drew his creatures. That's pretty good. And Huey's got Glyph Keeper. So
Sam has his creatures and Huey has his mana, which those are the shakiest parts of both players' decks.
Oh yeah.
Now I like the way Sam's hand looks here because under ordinary circumstances, you might have to think about whether or not you're going to cycle your creature because you don't want to flood out in the late game, draw too many lands, and have nothing to cast. But since Sam has Wandering Death in hand, it's a no-brainer to just cycle the Winged Shepherd on turn 1 because he can get it back at his convenience.
Right, yep, he's got several Wandering Deaths, so I think he just wants to try to play out his hand here, although it's just probably easier said than done with Grimstrider, but...
Well, Sam's hand is just perfect here. You know, a nice early creature, combat trick to back it up, 2 removal spells, and Wandering Death to make sure he doesn't flood. So Huey's going to have his work cut out for him in both defending himself, surviving, and putting together some kind of late game that can contend with Sam.
Right. So, yeah, I guess he's just not trying to stamina here. Walk into a Magma Spray or something. Easier, better to exert. And Huey's just still really flooded. Drawn one spell only.
Yeah, the good news for him is that Glyph Keeper is resilient to the 2 removal spells in Sam's hand. So Sam might have to put something together like casting Supernatural Stamina on the Glyph Keeper, letting it get countered, and then using a removal spell after.
Yep, then he'd only have to deal with the Embalm token, so he'd be halfway there.
That's true, although if he draws a 5th land, he could use the Cast Out to get rid of both in one shot.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true, yeah.
Glyph Keeper is a super strong, limited bomb rare, though I've encountered this situation before when I've had it in my deck, which is just that it doesn't do a great job of blocking other flying creatures sometimes.
Right.
Takrop Elite and Gust Walker both would just trade with it.
Yeah, 3 toughness is not a lot of toughness on turn 5 in this format for sure.
So Sam probably deciding whether or not to add Grimstrider to the battlefield. He is, of course, aware of Rag's Riches in Huey's deck, and he would be setting himself up for a pretty bad blowout if Huey does have, second black mana and Rag's Riches.
Well, if you play Grimstrider right here, you still have 5 cards in hand, right? And it's a 1/1 then?
Yes,
so when
exactly.
You'd have to play a spell or else it would die on your draw step?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'd have to cast, an upkeep Supernatural Stamina or Splendid Agony if he wanted to have the option to play Grimstrider. But it seems like there are a number of reasons why he might want to wait. Problem is, what else do you do with your mana? The Glyph Keeper, it's hard to kill.
Might involve cycling the Wandering Death here and just trying to get to another drop or some lands or something like that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of options for Sam.
Yeah.
Oh. And we lost him.
No options. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I like cycling Wandering Death here. It's just kind of not doing anything, and I don't think it's not really gonna. You're not gonna have time to do a ton of it with it, I guess. But I don't know.
Yeah, I still, as much as the board state looks relatively even here, I struggle to see what Huey's plan is going to be in the long game. Because he can't really trade damage with Sam right now. He can't block that effectively, and Sam has 2 removal spells for whatever creatures Huey's going to produce. So,
well, I think if I'm Huey here, if you're not blocking with Glyph Keeper, I don't think Sam's going to play anything on his turn. He might play the Grimstrider, but then he's sort of locked into playing an instant, which isn't great right now. So if Sam doesn't play anything in your Huey, maybe you just attack with Grimkeeper and then you final reward one of Sam's creatures. And if Sam doesn't have another follow-up, then he's actually just winning the race pretty well.
Yes, you just try to, chip in 4 times with the 5-power flyer.
Either that or you're just going to have to bite the bullet and just block with it at some point. So.
Yep, good point. Boy, once we erased those 5 cards from Sam's hand, the game started to look a lot better for Huey.
It's looking really good for you guys right now. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so he cycles Wander in Death and does draw a land. I'm trying to remember what's in his hand here, but there's still not a bunch, so...
Yeah, okay, so we have Sam reconnected to the game. We're going to get the hand cam back in a moment. And Huey's drawn Cancel. That could be a big card in this game, especially if Sam has to go for a big turn where he targets 2 spells at the Glyph Keeper. Mm-hmm. Cancel could potentially stop the second and make for a big swing.
Yeah. So at this point, I think I'm just playing the Minotaur and leaving up a Cancel. Yeah, I don't know. I guess your blocks still aren't great. You can't block either of those cards if he wants to exert Gustwalker at least. So yeah.
Well, the Minotaur,
Oh, he's flying.
It does threaten.
What am I talking about? Yeah, I'm very stupid.
It threatens the 2-power flyers. So if Sam was to exert both, it's hard for Huey to block. But if Sam only exerts one or the other, Huey can sort of force the issue by throwing the Sure Shot in front of something.
Right, yeah, no, I always forget that guy has reach.
Sam perhaps thinking on a Splendid Agony at the end of the turn. He's thinking about all the different permutations of what, how much he wants to exert on his turn, how Huey could block, what happens if he has Magma Spray.
Yep.
But I could definitely see him just throwing some counters on the Minotaur Sure Shot to make sure that he can keep attacking.
Yep, and that's what he does.
Okay, Gustwalker is exerted here. Talkrop Elite is not exerted.
Yep.
This means that on the board, Huey can't effectively block either one.
Yeah. So Huey just takes it.
And again, Sam not casting the Grimstrider. Oh, okay, so here's the big turn. He's going for a kill on Glyph Keeper.
Not going to work out.
Wow, so I had said I couldn't see a way for Huey to fight through all the cards in Sam's hand, but that Cancel, being able to take out 2 cards from Sam's hand and have a big tempo swing for Huey as he gets to keep the Glyph Keeper on the board. And now a perfect draw step in Deem Worthy, and suddenly the game has turned around quite a bit.
I almost wonder... Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably just better, right? Because the Glyph Keeper's so tough to deal with. It's just kind of an inevitable clock. But I was almost wondering if it's worth it to pump up the Minotaur and just get in for 9 and put Sam 1 away from lethal. But...
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Oh, and Sam just forced to cast Never on the Minotaur Sure Shot.
Yeah.
Just to survive. Wow, what a roller coaster of a game.
Wow. Yep.
Just the power of Glyph Keeper there being I mean, it almost worked out perfectly. That was a game where if the Glyph Keeper just had Shroud or Hexproof, the game would have been very different. But the fact that it's possible to kill, and Sam spent a lot of resources trying to go for a kill on it, that was the determining factor of the game when Huey was able to cancel the cast out.
Yeah, that was very huge.
Okay, so we can't see Sam sideboarding here, but from Huey's side, he is going to have to decide how much he wants to hedge his bets against those fast Gustwalker draws that, the one that Sam had in game 1, and how much he wants to settle in for the late game battle against Sam's Wander and Deaths and removal spells. Looks like his changes are going to be fairly minimal.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of like naturally set up, at least with his main deck config, to just kind of just, exactly go over the top of what Sam is doing. Sam, that was a fast draw from Sam. I mean, he's not going to get that every time. So I kind of like keeping things mostly the same here.
Yeah, me too. Another good draw from Huey, all 3 colors of mana.
He's got his mana, yep.
And Sam also keeps 7. Been impressed by the Nimble Blade Kenra in Huey's deck. That's a card that my normal experience with it is like I kind of play it when I'm desperate for a creature in my red aggro decks, but it's usually pretty below par.
Right.
But what Huey's got going here is a deck with a lot of instants and a defensive deck, so a lot of times he's passing with these to hold the ground and mana available. Makes it hard for the opponent to attack in.
Yeah, I mean, and he certainly just wants something to interact early. He's got a lot of powerful spells.
So Sam just cycled the Jeru's Resolve,
Yep.
turn 3 Cursed Minotaur, and we'll see if he has something that allows him to attack into these 2 creatures here.
Yeah. I mean, it just totally depends on the context of Sam's hand. If he wants to, if he's even just fine trading this off for the Minotaur, I guess. I wonder if he's got something like Splendid Agony and Wandering Death in his hand.
Mm-hmm. So I'm taking a look at Huey's deck. He's got this Trial of Knowledge in his hand. Actually doesn't have any cartouches. So he's just using it as a sift, which I think is a pretty good card in his deck.
Yeah, I think it's
no way to rebuy it.
Yeah. Well, the red and blue cartouches aren't really at their best in Huey's deck. I mean, the black one would fit perfectly, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does have 2 red cartouches, but they didn't make the cut.
Yeah. I think there was only 1 black cartouche in the draft. Maybe there were 2. I don't know. I remember I passed one pretty late. I thought that Owen might have been in black, but...
I believe Sam has 1 black cartouche in his main deck, and I have 1 in my sideboard.
Okay.
I picked pretty early when I thought I might be black.
Yeah. So what do we have? Is this all right? Top Rock Elite. Oh,
so
Sam
attacked, and Huey actually chose not to block the Minotaur. He didn't want to get 2 for 1.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hand cam is back, and it looks like both players have strong hands.
Yeah.
Ooh, and Huey's getting some damage in.
Yep. I guess
he figures
the Manticore as a late game. He's got a Minotaur, which is also probably going to sneak in 5 at some point.
Yeah, and I think he just decided that he only wants to get into creature combat on his own terms. Like, he doesn't want to double block when his mana is tapped and Sam's mana is untapped.
Yeah.
Ooh, he picked up Glyph Keeper, but he doesn't have a second island.
Yeah, he could play it next turn off the Painted Bluffs.
But Sam actually has a pretty effective answer. He can play Cartouche of Ambition, get most of the value from the lifelink, but target the Glyph Keeper with the -1 ability, and that'll free up compulsory rest for afterwards.
Right. Okay, just Manticore go. So if you're Sam here, might just be tempted to fire off 2 removal spells and jam with everything, which looks like what's happening here.
Yeah, and actually, if Sam was to exert, this would threaten a lethal attack. I mean, it doesn't look like Nimble Blade Kenra is going to do much besides chump blocking anyway. But yeah, Sam could come in for the full 12 here.
Yeah.
Huey has not drawn any instance for the Javelineer, so looks like his best move is probably going to be play Glyph Keeper and try to block Grim Strider.
All right, so Grim Strider can be a 5/5.
Yeah,
It can
Sam
actually be a 6/6, right? He can just fire off Wandering Death for nothing.
Or he could put the black cartouche on Grim Strider and keep Wandering Death in hand.
Right, exactly. It'll just get +1/+1 from that. And so he was just going to have to chump with Glyph Keeper here. Go to 2. Yeah, looking rough for Huey. So he can draw like a Magma Spray and then chump block, but I guess not.
No, cancel's not going to do it. We'll get a game 3. So Peach Garden Oath facing elimination. If Huey loses this game, that'll be 5 wins for Team Madison. We'll be done. If Huey wins, though, then we live to fight another day, and next round we'll see Owen Turtenwald versus Justin Cohen.
Yeah.
So taking a look at Sam's sideboarding, he's taken out all 3 copies of Splendid Agony, which those are kind of the bread and butter cards of his deck, but he decides he's gotten a bad pairing for him, and they got to come out against Huey.
Yeah, they don't seem to match up too well against Huey. Huey's got an early play and no blue mana. All right. Sam's got a bunch of cyclers.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. If I had been involved in this match on either side, I would have been pretty tempted to choose to draw.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
it makes sense.
Neither player is super likely to get a great curve out, and with Huey wanting to make sure he establishes all his mana, he finds his colors. Being on the draw, there is some merit there, but both of them decided to play, which, you know, that's never going to be that big of a mistake to choose to play first.
Right. Cycling Unburden here. Yeah, I would definitely cycle one of the other ones. There we go. Wander and Death has not done a ton in this match.
Gideon's Intervention.
It's a good answer.
A pretty cool card. What do you envision Sam doing with it this game?
I mean, I assume it's in there for Glyph Keeper, but it might just it might just name Minotaur. Let's see. Doesn't look like Sam's got a great way to deal with it this second. No fourth land, but I guess maybe we'll get one off Painful Lessons.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, Sam takes a big turn off here, and he's going to take quite a chunk of damage. Oh, and he still missed his land drop, but did pick up, between Never Return and Gideon's Intervention, he can neutralize 2 threats on back-to-back turns.
Yeah.
So we'll see what Huey can put together.
We can get a fourth land. All right, well, we can cycle Renewed Faith, I guess.
Man, boy, a torturous draw from Sam because his hand is so close to just being great and having answers to everything, but he can't find his second swamp, can't find his fourth land.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess he can.
So would you start with cycling Scarab Feast here?
I think so. I think I would. Looks like he's just going to try to Jera's Resolve out of this.
So his plan, I guess if he doesn't draw land, is protect the Gustwalker with Jera's Resolve and then suit it up with Cartouche of Ambition.
Yeah, see, I kind of think I would have gone for, if I'm this far behind, I might have gone for Cycle Scarab Feast, play Gustwalker, hope to draw another swamp, then next turn Cartouche, attack, exert, and then Jera's Resolve. Try to get back in the game that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sort of hinges on Huey having nothing, but you're so far behind at this point.
Okay, so Baleful Amit does a pretty nice job of stabilizing the board. Huey could use Rags to Riches to force through the Minotaur.
I think it's just getting wrapped, right?
Yeah, that seems like the cleanest answer is illusory wrappings the Amit and just, Sam gets some chump blockers, but that's okay.
Maybe he wraps and rags here just so he doesn't have to exert and he doesn't get chump blocked. I could see that happening.
Good suggestion. Yep.
And then that would just put Sam at 2.
He could choose to exert, and that would basically force Sam to double block the Minotaur and lose both creatures.
Yeah, that's true. But at this point, I guess this way, Sam still needs a creature. If he doesn't have one, okay, well.
And Gideon's Intervention is actually a perfect answer because it doesn't put the creature in the graveyard, so it doesn't allow Huey to play the Gravedigger really and get value.
Right. Yeah, we could see Sam stabilize here. He's got a Cartouche. A lot of other stuff. Probably not. So... yeah, Huey just passes the turn.
I think this game would have worked out better for Huey if he had made your play of casting the Rags a turn or two ago when Sam had the 1/1 and the 0/2. not in the least part, because then he would just be able to cast Riches.
Right.
Stealing
Exactly.
Soul Stinger on a board state like this could just be enough.
Yep. Exactly. So now Huey can final reward and play a Minotaur. Unless I don't think he played a land. Nope.
Funny enough, if Huey does ever try to take the game in a way where he can cast the Riches, Sam, has Scarab Feast. He ended up cycling it that turn, but would have been a funny way for the game to turn.
Could have been good, yeah. All right, so Sam's going to cast out. Sam just really needs Huey to brick on lands for a while.
Yeah, at what point, if you're Huey in this game, would you just cast the Gravedigger just to have a 2/2 on the board? I mean, it's so painful to make a play like that, but he probably would have won the game a turn or two ago if he had done it.
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to turn on Gravedigger as an option.
Yep.
And Huey could actually play out 3 creatures this turn?
He's got only only has 8 mana.
Okay, so only 2. If he draws a 9th land, though, he could go Blood Rage Brawler and skip straight to the Riches side of Rag's Riches.
Yep. I mean, he could just play the Blood Rage Brawler now and then discard it, but okay, he doesn't do that.
Ninth land should do it if Huey decides to go for that play. Oh, Deem Worthy is going to do it as well.
Going to be effective, yep. All right, that does it.
Yeah, Sam was just stalled on lands a little too long. He made a good run at clawing back, but he had fallen pretty far behind on both the board and life total.
Yeah.
Okay, so the match continues, and next up, I think we've got Justin versus Owen. It might take them a minute or two to set up that match.
Sure.
And it's going to be Sam and Randy bringing you that match, actually. Okay, well, that does it for Matt and I, but stay tuned as we've got 1 or 2 more really good matches to show you tonight.
Sure.
Rise among the worthy next weekend. Bring your best standard deck to become the Amonkhet Game Day champion of your local game store. Top finishers are awarded full art premium promo cards and an exclusive Game Day champion playmat for the winner. Find a game day near you at magic.wizards.com/gameday.
Grand Prix events offer great experiences for players of all skill levels. These Magic celebrations are headlined by 2-day open tournaments with pro players, feature top artist signings, and host a wide range of side events. Find an upcoming Grand Prix event near you at magic.wizards.com/Grand Prix.
Want to play in the next Pro Tour? Qualifiers are happening this weekend on Magic Online. For more information, visit mtgo.com.
Hello and welcome! I'm Randy Bueller, glad to be tagging in for some Team Draft Super League commentary. A little bit of the post-Pro Tour plague seems to have infected Owen, so I'm taking his spot in the rotation. He will be playing this round, though, and all right, Sam, let's talk about this Carry Me plan, because you have executed the Get Carried plan to perfection so far.
Yeah.
You're 0-3, but your team is on the verge of victory at 4-3.
Yeah, everything is going exactly as planned from the point where I saw our decks.
From the point where you saw which?
Our decks collectively.
Yes.
Like when the draft was over, this was the plan.
So what happened to you during the draft?
Nothing good. I just, as we deduced when I was talking to Reed, I first picked Cast Out behind him and White, and
Sure.
Then I went into Black because that's who he was passing me, and looking over their sideboards, their team collectively just hate drafted a lot of black cards that I needed. They have 2 black cartouches and a black trial in sideboards of non-black decks, and I just never really was in a spot.
It makes sense. It's interesting, actually. If you go back and listen to the draft commentary, Ben was going at it. It was Ben, Stark, and Marshall, and Ben was he kept yelling at Reed. He did not like the way Reed drafted because he didn't think Reed was doing enough hate drafting. It's like, you can't pass that to Sam. You already put him in black. You got to take more of these black cards away from him. I mean, sure. At some level, Reed may go back and listen to that and, just be thinking scoreboard to himself because he passed an 0-3 deck. Your mission in Team Draft, if you can pull it off, is pass an 0-3 deck. You're allowed to go 1-2 if you pass an 0-3. And that's basically what we watched Reed do. Now, to be fair to you and to Ben, it does sound like Reed got a little bit lucky in that you opened a white card while he was first picking a white card. That certainly helps, and that wasn't a thing that Reed affected directly. But right. I don't know. Ben was just going off and bashing on Reed, and I think Reed did a better job than Ben was giving him credit for. That's my theory right now.
Sure. Yeah, and I also took a few bad cards over better cards where the bad cards had some upside and the better cards seemed mediocre.
Sure.
Specifically, I gambled on some Nest of Scarabs or whatever, the thing that makes 1/1s and you put -1/1 counters on things in pack 1, because I saw there were multiples and I knew that my deck wasn't in a good place even in pack 1. And I was like, well, this thing almost never comes together, but maybe I just need to put my spot in this position where it can. And I ended up kind of really regretting the cards that I missed would have helped. I still don't think I would have had a good deck. I'd have a fairly playable deck, but really just my seat was bad. Every gamble I took didn't pay off.
Well, this is why you have teammates. Now, Justin has basically all the green cards at the table. We're about to watch Justin play against Owen Turtenwald. Owen Turtenwald does have all the Glory Bringers at the table. So, I don't know. I might rather have all the Glory Bringers than all the green cards, but do you have a sense of how this matchup should play out?
I haven't thought about it in great detail. I know that I like Justin's deck, but let me see how I think Owen's cards line up against it.
So Owen he's beaten you, and his other match he lost to Matt in just kind of a brutal back and forth. Matt's deck looked really impressive to me watching.
Yeah, I like Matt's deck a lot.
We haven't really gotten to see much of it on camera because we wound up swapping the schedule around to try to make the hand cams work. But yeah, Matt is super aggressive blue-white deck. It feels like he got a real deck in a team draft.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think I like Justin's spot overall. Owen just, his creatures don't line up particularly well against Justin's creatures plus tricks. He doesn't have a lot of removal. He has to spend a lot of time early in the game drawing cards, just cycling to get to the point where his Enigma Drakes are on. And it's not hard for Justin to trick over an Enigma Drake at the point in the game where Enigma Drake's going to have to start blocking.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of Owen playing against Matt, just watching it in Magic Online and trying to give updates. And it did feel like, yeah, Owen, he's got a lot of cycling, but those Enigma Drakes are a big part of the plan. Like when if he's not winning with Glorybringer, he's winning with Enigma Drake. So he might be a little vulnerable to getting run over by combat tricks. Those guys are ready to go. Enough talking about it. Let's see what happens when Justin and Owen throw down. Here we go. The 8th of a possible 9 matches in the battle between Team Madison and the Peach Garden Oath. Twitter predicted the Peach Garden Oath was going to win here. It was like, 75, 78%, I think. But it's Team Madison that needs just one more win to claim the victory. What do you make of these opening hands, Sam?
Well, I think that, Justin's draws are close to binary, depending on whether he has a 2-drop in terms of their strength. But Owen has his most important card in Magma Spray, and now drew Essence Scatter, which is probably his second best card in terms of just getting to the point in the game where his deck needs to be. So I think both are on good draws if Justin finds a land. If Justin doesn't draw a land here, I think Owen's probably going to run away. But he does draw the lands.
Yep. Here's land number 3, right on schedule.
So Owen, I suspect, is going to take this hit and try to Essence Scatter Justin's play.
Yeah, he played them out in the first turn, right? I was a little bit surprised he didn't Magma Spray on then step, but...
Yeah, I guess he has the Pathmaker initiate that can trade with the Bitterblade Warrior, and well, I guess it can trade with anything that you can Magma Spray, though. But...
Yeah. All right, here's Ornery Kudu. Good enough for your Essence Scatter, Mr. Turtenwald?
The alternative is he could try to get his Pyramid of the Pantheon going, which looks like he's taking that.
That is the plan. Interesting. Electrify off the top for Owen.
Yeah, he's drawing all the right cards for the matchup.
Here we see the Essence Scatter, and it does get to come off the Pyramid, so
yeah, I think we're going to see the Serpent get hardcast pretty soon.
Pathmaker Initiate. Who do you think is winning this game at this point? I mean, has Owen's draw just lined up so well that he's ahead? It still feels like Justin is on the front foot.
I think Owen's ahead. I think that the fact that the River Serpent has 5 toughness and the Ornery Kudu only gets up to 4 with Synchronized Strike, and the Mummy only trades with the River Serpent with a Synchronized Strike, means that this River Serpent is going to successfully brickwall Justin, and then Owen's going to be able to get to the point where he's drawing into his flyers.
You make a compelling argument, Sam. Or maybe not. We need a different conversation. Here is the River Serpent. Can't attack with it yet, but I don't think Owen's really intending to attack with that guy.
Yeah, attacking is not really his priority in this game. Justin gets to just deploy a couple creatures here, I think. I don't think his attacks are any good, but getting up to 4 creatures in play, getting his spells under this counterspell that Owen has that Justin doesn't know about, but it's still nice to just get his stuff down and then we can go from there. I think Justin's thinking about whether he wants to do something funky with these exemplar counters, or whether he just wants to make a 1/1.
Got it.
And a 4/4 is really nice on this board because it can actually get over the River Serpent.
Mm-hmm.
But if he goes for it, it's going to work out really badly against this Electrify.
All right.
2-for-1 at minimum, 3-for-1 if Owen holds up the Electrify and plays it with a trick. Okay, good. Justin's not getting too greedy here.
You're allowed to be biased. I'll be neutral. I'll be neutral for both of us.
I assumed it was expected.
It is.
A good draw for Owen.
Yeah, Owen has stable. Now, these players do have deck lists. We played one round before the deck lists were public. They're posted. You guys out there watching can look them up if you want. But the relevant part being, Owen knows that there's these combat tricks sitting in Justin's hand, like the 2 copies of Synchronized Strike are cards Owen is going to be thinking about. Like 13 cards in his library. Odds are he's got at least one in his hand by now, right?
Yeah, Owen's certainly expecting Justin to have a 3-mana trick. This Skilled Behemoth is going to be good if we can draw out the Reduced Rebel at some point before we cast it. But there's also just the possibility that it takes too long to get there. Don't really like trying to attack into this board and all that open mana. It fairly clearly looks like it'll end badly in some way, so I think Justin has to pass, but that's also really not where he wants to be in this matchup.
Can he afford to pass? He's got...
I don't know. He's in a really tough spot.
I agree that if he attacks, he's risking whatever Owen could do with that untapped mana, but what is waiting by him? Owen has the better lane.
Owen's never going to have to tap out because of the pyramid.
Right. I think it's reasonable for Justin to just hope Owen doesn't have an Electrify.
Yeah.
I don't hate this play from Justin. It's not going to work. It's going to be ugly, but I don't blame Justin for this line. His hand's not going anywhere. All right. I would like to make these 2 bigger, please, sir.
Now, Owen can counter that or Electrify, and I assume he's going to counter it.
Yeah, I like Reduce here. Yeah, and now effectively a 3-for-2 trade. The Mummy dies, 2/1 dies. Owen does lose his Initiate.
And Justin pushes some damage.
Justin gets a little damage through. He also clears his way through a trick, right? From Justin's perspective, now maybe the next Synchronized Strike will actually have a chance to be good.
Right.
Maybe. There's the Enigma Drake.
Yeah, that's a big draw.
River Serpent is, in theory, turned on to attack, but I don't think Owen's interested in that. That's what Enigma Drake is for.
No, he's getting in there. I don't hate
Never
it.
mind then.
He gets to play Enigma Drake, which is a good blocker, and if Justin tries to trick through it, he can just 2-for-1 Justin with the Electrify.
Yeah, he's got enough
to attack to induce the attack.
That's a good point. Yeah, with the Pyramid, Owen does have Electrify and Enigma Drake mana, so he's delighted to risk Enigma Drake in a block because he's got the Electrify for whatever.
Yeah, it's not a risk from his perspective. He's just inviting Justin to get 2-for-1.
Inviting, I think, is exactly the right word there. Justin has telegraphed his trick. He's attacking a 3/1 into a 5/4. But again, I don't blame Justin. I don't think Justin's playing this wrong. I think Owen's he's just the way the hand's lined up. Owen gets to smack him around.
Yeah, Justin's doing what he has to do in this spot, but Owen's hand is such that there's no way it can possibly work out for him.
Oof. Wow. Remember 2 turns ago where Justin had 4 creatures and Owen had 1?
And as it turned out, getting aggressive for Owen is also going to really help because it means that he doesn't have to worry about this Scaled Behemoth grinding through. He's just turned the corner and he's going to be able to win the race against the Behemoth.
Yeah, Owen's out of gas. He's arguably flooded at this point, but shouldn't matter. It's a 6/4 flyer.
Yeah,
I think
getting aggressive with the River Serpent was very much the right play, and it's going to make this game really easy.
Best 5 out of 9 is our format here. Currently 4-3, so Owen must win this match just to keep Peach Garden Oath alive. He would like for it to all come down to Reed Duke against Matt Severa. Justin has other ideas, but it sure looks like he's going to be down the first game.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Owen chose to leave the Reverse Serpent on defense there. And now there's the 6/7 hexproof on the other side.
He left the Reverse Serpent on defense because if he attacks, he can just die to a shed weakness.
Yeah, I guess he's
such a huge part in this game that he doesn't want to give Justin an out.
I mean, he can't attack with Reverse Serpent now, so he's going to have to survive the next attack phase. He can see that Justin's empty-handed, but if Justin top decks +3, Justin wins, right?
Yeah, Justin has to draw exactly a shed weakness.
Draw a step. Oh my God! He needs to, what did you say, Sam? He needs to draw exactly what?
That one. That's the one he needed to draw.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Justin,
that was sick.
This game. That is exact damage off the top. Empty-handed, too. So Owen knows it was off the top. Oh,
yeah, so far ahead that whole way, and Justin was just able to exactly steal it with his one-outer.
Now, if Owen had attacked with his River Serpent on the previous turn, that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Right? He would have gotten through enough damage that the Enigma Drake would have been lethal a turn earlier. So it's funny. Owen played around shed weakness for one turn by leaving a defender.
Right.
So, I mean, I don't think Owen's played wrong, right? He's playing around the right card. But then once 6/7 hexproof comes down, well, Owen can't play around shed weakness anymore. Crazy. And Owen drew lands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy.
The one outer. Well, Hellbent too. I don't know. It feels worse to get top decked when when they're empty-handed. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but it feels worse. I guess you only truly know that you get top decked when they're empty-handed.
Right.
All right. Does sideboarding change anything here?
I don't think he wants like more tricks into Justin's counterspells and removal. So he might want fewer. Like it might make sense to board out some of the tricks and bring in more just like giant spiders or whatever creatures he wants, just to not have the spots where he's like running tricks and counterspells. But on the other hand, I was talking earlier about how I think that if you can get an back foot or some block, right, tricks the right answer. So
yeah, sorry. It sounds like your mic cut out a little bit. I don't know if you can aim at the microphone a little more close.
Sorry. Is this better?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I'm still shaking my
hands. Picking up only a narrow range of talking into it, I guess.
Yeah. Wow. So what that means, that win from Justin means you guys are one game away from the round one upset.
Yeah. It looks like Justin's cutting his white.
Oh my. Mono green? Why cut the white? What does this accomplish?
Well, he could bring in red or black, or he might just think that he just wants to be as consistent as possible. I'm not sure.
What were the key?
In deck building, he felt like it was close as to what his second color could be, so he might just want to switch.
I mean, he's on 16 forests and a cradle right now, right?
Yeah, okay. I think his thinking is that Owen has multiple counterspells, and so he doesn't want the 5 mana play that can get countered, and it's not worth messing up his mana to have it. And
interesting.
So he wants to just be streamlined.
All right. 3 forests, couple of creatures, and a couple of combat tricks. That's kind of how you want your mono green deck to draw.
Yep. And Owen's on the kind of hand that I was talking about where you just have to cycle in the early game and let Justin pull ahead. He's really going to need to draw into early interaction in a hurry, or he's going to get run over.
Oh, Tormenting Voice. Discarding, the other compelling argument. Makes sense. Juicer Rubble's a little bit of interaction, but not till next turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not ideal, but it kind of counts. But now this exemplar gets to start doing its thing.
Comes exemplar strength. Up to 2-2. Nothing Owen can do about that.
Yeah, and Owen definitely has to counter whatever Justin plays here, or he just falls too far behind.
Pretty much. Justin's choice is the ornery kudu. Maybe hooded brawler. Probably does not expect this to resolve. He's got to expect some answer.
Yep.
The deuce.
More cyclers from Owen.
Indeed. I mean, Justin's board hasn't gotten crazy out of control. I mean, Owen may get to those River Serpents. He's got the 5th land in hand, 2 more cyclers.
Justin's going to play a 3/4 and put a counter back on the exemplar, and he's going to end up with 2 creatures that can both trick over the River Serpent and stay alive.
Fair. Yeah, here is Ornery Kudu. And I think he chose to not feed this one to reduce last turn because he liked exactly the play you're lining up. Put a counter back on this guy. I get a 3/4. That guy can still get to 4/4. Owen's just drawing cards, continuing to try to set up his draw. Okay, he's got a couple of creatures now.
Yeah, he can play 2 creatures, but that kind of just walks into the first synchronized strike, and then Justin still has the backup strike to get through River Serpent if Owen can even draw the land to get it down.
What else is Owen supposed to do, though?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that, like...
You're just happy with Justin's position. I'll allow it.
Yeah, well, and I mean, it's also just, this is the exact, fail state that I was predicting of Owen's deck, where he just has to use so much of his mana to get to his cards, and falls behind Justin just playing the board in the early turns.
Yeah, good point. Owen leaves up mana to potentially pump the Minotaur Sure Shot.
Yeah, to try to trade with Exemplar.
He's going to try to trade it with Exemplar. It seems like the right play, given Owen's hand. We just know it's not actually going to work.
Yeah, and this works out perfectly for Justin's mana. He gets to use the strike to save his creature and push extra damage, and then still to play as an extra 2-drop.
Crazy. Yep. Take 5. Your creature dies. And I get to add a 3/1 to the board. Wow. 3 creatures and another synchronized strike standing in his hand. That Essence Drake is large. It's 5/4.
The big finisher, but it's just going to trade with a synchronized strike and a creature.
Justin turns him sideways. Owen's got no choice but to block.
The Enigma Drake isn't even going to kill a creature, actually. It only has 5 power. Justin's guys are going to go to 6 because Owen has to block the Pathmaker on the 3/1.
True story. 5/4 Enigma Drake, not good enough. Wow, so this is 6 damage. Or
no, it's only 4, but saves all Justin's creatures.
It's 4 damage and kill both your creatures. Yep. I don't know that Owen's deck has a way out. Even Glorybringer doesn't get the job done here.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
He's got the 6th lane for River Serpent, but 6 life, and he's going to take 6. Sam, Operation Carry Me Please, teammates. Looks like it may be successful.
Yeah, teammates did great this draft.
Peach Garden Oath has 3 wins against Sam Black and no wins against anybody else. Team game. The Initiate doesn't help, right? I don't know.
It's just a smaller creature. It's still just one guy.
Yeah, I mean, Owen basically has to play 2 blockers here. I don't know what he can cycle into. I think he's just cold.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
never wanted to.
Somehow Sam's internet has gone into slow motion. That's interesting. Cycling on the stack still. It's funny. I mean, I'm giving Sam grief for the 0-3, but he really did call this exactly. He said when he sat down and looked at the team's decks, it's like, boys, you need to carry me. Yeah, Owen not going to wait for Justin to get back online to hit go because he knew there was nothing he could cycle into. He was just plain dead. Welcome back, Sam. Congratulations. You guys win. That is what passes for excited in Sam Black's world. Obviously, I suspect Sam can't hear me. Just trying to make sure he gets back online. But we don't really need to get him back online because we're done. Week 1 of Team Draft Super League is in the books. It was Team Madison, Wisconsin with the first win. Team Madison is now victorious. Peach Garden Oath, they're not out, but they do have some work to do. The way the overall league works, there are 8 teams. We're playing 2 rounds of Swiss. So everybody plays 2 matches, and then the 2-0s go directly into the top 4. The 0-2s get eliminated from the event, and that'll leave us with 4 teams on 1-1. They get paired. They play for the other 2 spots in the top 4. So PGO can still win the whole event, but their next loss will knock them out. If they are going to win the event, they're going to have to rattle off 4 match wins in a row. Their team is totally capable of doing it, of course. They're just going to have to. Meanwhile, Sam, you guys are now 1 win away from a top 4 spot. Is how this plays out.
Nice, and we're not facing elimination.
Right. You cannot be eliminated in round 2. Worst case scenario, you'll be in that 1-1 versus 1-1 playoff for a top 4 spot. Best case scenario, you just win the next round and go straight to the top 4.
I like it. Hopefully I can contribute to my team better next time.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed our debut episode of Team Draft Super League. We will be back next week, but at a slightly later time. We're going to be starting at 6 o'clock Pacific time, which 9 Eastern, and you probably know how Pacific works out for us. By now, something about Paul Rietzel having a day job. We thought we'd let him actually, get home from work before we start the draft. So 1 hour later than our normal time next week, it'll be Scottsdale Foundation taking on Channel Fireball. Any predictions, Sam? You want to get on anybody's bad side by sizing up that matchup?
Who's on Channel Fireball? I don't remember how the names broke down.
It's just 3 Hall of Famers. It's Efro, Luis, and Ben Stark. Whereas Scottsdale Foundation is, here you get a good look at Channel Fireball. Yeah. This is a great team. It is the only team in the field where all 3 members are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, so, I mean, I would like to be able to pick Scottsdale Foundation, but this is not the team I'd choose them against.
Fair.
Like, historically, the 3 of them have overperformed as a team. They play really well together. They have a lot of success above their success in other formats, I think, and that's saying a lot because they're great players, in any format. But I don't think that I can bet against Channel Fireball in that one. But larger upsets have happened.
Fair enough. All right, guys, that will be the matchup next week. We will see you then.